whited out in the back, and we are going to talk about my terrible experience with Samsung Galaxy 21 phone. Although there are a lot of benefits, a lot of great features in the phone, I would never, never buy another Samsung phone again because I was literally lied to by the sales reps in the store in the ICM mall. Although they give good service, and although they have a service department in the store, and every time I've ever gone into the store to get service, which is many, they have always accommodated me, and 90% of the time, 90%, see, I said 90%, 90% of the time, it's a free, whatever they have to do to the phone is free, because it's programming. It's a fault that Samsung phone has in their programming, that when it reinitiates, when it updates, sometimes it just, after it updates, it just fails to work after that. It may have, it may fail to be able to go on Skype. That's happened 2 weeks ago. It reprogrammed itself. I brought it into the Samsung. They fixed it. And then 24 hours later, I could get Skype in the store. Christian is a great tech. He fixed it in about 15 minutes. And this is the Samsung store in the ICM mall. And then about a day and a half later, 2 days later, Skype refused to load onto the page. Facebook refused to load onto the page, and I was unable to live stream from the phone, and I was unable to press the upload through the Bluetooth connection to the modem. So those are problems, okay? Because I think I paid, if I remember correctly, I think I paid 73,000 pesos for the phone. But that's not why I would never buy another Samsung. I would never buy another Samsung because the people that sell them, when they sold it to me, told me that they know for a fact that the Samsung Galaxy 21 phone was compatible with the MAVIC Air 2S drone. Now, that's my mistake for believing them, even though my friend Frank Flywoods One told me clear as day in the chat, on the phone, don't buy a Samsung. It won't be compatible with the drone. So I went, this is over the course of a few weeks, I went back to the store and I told the people in the store, they lie. This is the important part. They lie. I went back to the store with Frank Flywood One, who is also a drone pilot, who said to me, do not buy a Samsung phone. It's not compatible with the MAVIC Air 2S drone. So I went to the store and I talked to the tech and I showed him the drone I was going to buy. I hadn't bought it yet, but I knew which drone I wanted. And then we went online and we looked at Samsung specifications. It said the phone, the iPhone 21 Plus, will be compatible with that drone. And then I talked to Frank Flywoods again, and Frank said it's not compatible. There's problems with the program. So then we did a little bit more research, and it said that some drones may not work with the Samsung Galaxy 21 phone. There's a glitch, but that glitch should be fixed shortly. So it was many months before I bought the drone, and when I went back to the site, it said that the glitch for the Samsung Galaxy 21 phone to connect to MAVIC drones was fixed. So I had already bought the phone because the people in the store said that the glitch was going to be fixed, and it was just a matter of time, and it was going to be almost a year before I bought the drone. So when I bought the drone, I put the Go Fly program, it's called the Go Fly program, into the phone, and that was trouble to update that, to put that app in, but it didn't work, so it didn't matter. So after I went back to the store again, and they put the app in the phone. I don't know what I did something wrong. So they had to remove the app and then put an app in. Whatever it was, they got the app in the phone. And I had the drone with me. And the drone would not acknowledge the phone. So I said to the fella, you, which one of the technicians, you were the one that said that the drone and the phone were compatible. This is the Samsung store in the ICM Mall. And he said, yes, sir. We went to the website, and it says that the glitch was fixed. And it said that there was problems with some drones, but that my Air 2S drone should work with the phone, but it didn't. So now I have a $1,500 phone that doesn't work with the drone, which is what I bought it for to begin with. Even though I didn't have a drone, I bought the phone that would accommodate the drone. So now, number one, I was lied to about whether or not the phone should work with the drone, which it should, but it didn't. And how does that compensate me for a $1,500 loss? It does not compensate me in any way, shape, or form for the loss I took for 73,000 pesos for a phone. So what's the next problem with the phone? There are many. Should I do them in alphabetical order, or should I do them in the order that they occurred? Because there are so many, it's hard to remember. The Samsung Galaxy 21 phone, in my opinion, has some good things, and then on the other hand, it's a piece of junk, a $1,500 piece of junk, because it doesn't work with the purpose intended that I bought the phone for, to connect to the drone. So, what other problems did I have with this? Well, first of all, it didn't work. That's a $1,500 loss. So that should be enough. But shortly afterwards, when it updated, it wouldn't connect to the internet, which it happened just again 2 weeks ago. This is going back 2 years, a year and 3/4. So I had to bring it to the store. And then they fixed it. And then it worked for a long time. Then it happened again. It happened again about a year ago. Same thing. The programs would not work. And I brought it to the store, and they fixed it for free. I mean, it's not a question of whether or not they would fix it. That's why I bought the phone, because they had an in-store repair shop in the back of the store. So that was the entire purpose for me to buy that phone over an iPhone, was because they could service the phone in the store if something broke. Far be it from me to know that, number one, the phone would never be compatible with the drone. Far be it from me to know that, number two, I would have to bring the phone back every 3 or 4 months to reprogram the phone. Now, go back 4 months from now, about a year into ownership of the phone, and the whole back of the phone, the whole plastic back of the phone, it just fell off. Now, the phone is supposed to be waterproof. That's another lie. I'm going to tell you something. These people that sell phones, they must go to the school of how to teach. Please show me how to lie. I have to get a job selling phones. Because that's what they do. They lie. Everything is a lie. And no matter, all they want is to sell that phone. They don't care about you. So one of the options on this phone is that it's waterproof. But it still has a plug to plug in electric. But that's supposed to be, we'll call it a Canon plug. That's supposed to be a sealed Canon plug. So it shows you, the advertisement for this phone showed you that it was, that somebody had it out on a surfing kite, a kite surfer, had it on the front of their kite, their surfboard, which is absurd. Don't ever do that. Never put your phone in salt water. I never have. You can't do that. Okay, there's lots of reasons why you can't do it. So the original commercial of the Samsung phone said they had a column of water in a 6-inch PVC pipe. Clear plastic, PVC, or clear plastic. And they put the phone under 1 meter of water. That's what it says, 1 meter. So, in other words, if you drop it in a bathtub or it gets wet, it will still continue to function. Don't do that. Don't try it. You'll regret it. So, and then they take the phone out and they wipe the screen. Don't even believe that. That's some kind of hokey pocus. I don't know what they call it. But when that stuff they do, the Japanese nonsense they do, hokey pocus stuff, that don't work when you wipe the screen. They go like this. They wipe the screen and then they start pushing the buttons. That don't work at all. It doesn't work at all. Forget that. Somehow they got it to work for their commercial, but I think they time-lapsed it. They shut it off, wiped the screen dry with a dry rag, and then polished it, and then they blew it with a hair blower, and then they pushed the buttons. Because when you get that phone wet, I guarantee you, I assure you 100%, that phone is not going to wipe off the screen and push the buttons. You're going to have to dry it off somehow on a towel, and then you can push the buttons, and then it doesn't even want to do that. So that's another lie. Now that's fresh water they put it in. Why I say don't ever do it with salt water is because salt water inside the Canon plug where there's 5 prongs or 4 prongs, salt water will oxidize the brass prongs after a while. So let's just say you put it in salt water on a kite, like they have the kite surfing commercial. Don't ever do that. Let's say you do that. And hold on a minute. Let's say you do that. And then you take it out of the water and you dry off the screen, right? You forgot that there's water in the Canon plug. And for all the time that salt water stays inside that Canon plug, the salt is going like this. Like a Pac-Man, attacking the brass, attacking the prongs, attacking the Canon plug. It's just attacking it. Not only that, but the Canon plug that it's attacking is a female part of the Canon plug. So the water went inside the female end of the Canon plug. Now, how do you get it out? You don't. Not easy, unless you're mechanically inclined. So, in other words, let's say that a week goes by. Well, let's just say a few days go by, and now that salt is inside the female Canon plug. It's going like this. It's chewing on the bronze prongs. It's chewing on it every day. It's Every time a little moisture comes from the air, every time you go into the bathroom, every time it gets near water, the salt activates and goes like this, like rust. It's oxidizing. Well, let's say you don't get it out. Well, then that cannon plug, after a few weeks, does not work anymore. Now you got to go get a cannon plug. I have no idea what that costs, but you need to get one in a few weeks. So when you get that salt water inside that cannon plug, now you have to soak the phone in fresh water and take like a hose or a spray bottle and put pressure into the female cannon plug to get the water out. Otherwise, in a week or so, that cannon plug is just not going to work. It doesn't take much. So that's another lie. So it didn't work with the drone, and you can't get it wet. Now it says you can use the phone in the rain. Well, that's a total lie. That's another lie, outright blatant, bold-faced lie. When it rains on this Galaxy 21 Samsung Plus phone, the phone shuts down. I don't know why it shuts down. It's not supposed to do that. But take my word for it, the phone shuts down. In the column of water, when they do the commercial, they put the phone in the water and it's staying on. I don't know how they did that. I think I know. They put the cannon plug facing down where no water went into the female part. Maybe they had it plugged off. I don't know. But I assure you, when you have your phone in the rain, the phone shuts down. You got to take a hair blower, blow the fresh water out of the plug. So there are so many things that are in the commercial for the Samsung phone that are not true. Number one, it never hooks up to the MAVIC Air 2S drone and maybe other drones. Number two, you can't get it wet in the rain. It shuts down. Number three, if you put it in the water and you take it out, it's going to shut down anyway. I never seen any commercial that lies 3 times in one commercial. But it's a nice commercial, well-made commercial. So, propaganda. So that phone has had to be reprogrammed about 4 times. The back fell off the phone. It was in my bag, just sitting in my bag, and when I took it out of the bag, something fell on the floor. I looked down, it was the back of the phone. So when I said to myself, how is that possible? I didn't drop the phone. I did drop the phone about a year ago, but I mean, I dropped it on a wooden floor. I didn't drop it on tile or anything like that. But anyway, the back falls off. So you can't operate the phone like that. You got to bring it right to the shop because you do. So what happened is there's little wires on the back. Well, they fell off too. So now they have to work on the phone. But they didn't charge me to fix the wires. They charged me for a new gasket. It was not much. It was 700 pesos. And it took them about 3 hours. They had the phone for about 3 hours. So they fixed the wire, because whatever wire it was that fell off, I have no idea what the wires were. But anyway, some of the wires got disconnected. That's not supposed to happen. So when they fixed the phone, now it's working again. That was about 6-8 weeks ago. A month ago, it updated and the program took another dump. So I had to bring it back, I don't know, today's Wednesday, Monday, again. So that's 5 times that the program took a dump. 5 times. I can't load videos from the phone to the internet. Number one, I can't do that. Number two, it won't hook up to my drone, $1,500 out the window. Number three, it unprograms itself where I can't get Skype or Facebook. And number 5, it's not waterproof. And and they promised that it would work with the drone. So they lied to me. I spent $1,500 in their store, and there's no such thing as a refund or a rebate. And you can't even bring the phone back to the store and get money for it. Like, they won't give you even, they will not even, like, say you want to upgrade to a new phone and the new phone is $1,500. They won't take the old phone back as a partial payment. They will just charge you $1,500 for a new phone. So what did I have to do to get the drone to work? I had to buy an iPhone, and I bought that in August of last year. So next month will be a year. Next month will be a year. So I've never had a problem. Never, not a single issue with my iPhone 13. Nothing. Zero. Never failed. Updates by itself. Still stays programmed to the drone. When I leave the area to fly, I press Go Fly. Go Fly says, update your lats and lungs, your coordinates. You press update. You wait about 5 minutes. It updates to where you are, and you fly, if you want. But programming, and also the iPhone 13 is also waterproof. Don't put the iPhone 13 in the water. Don't do that either. It says it's waterproof. Then they see them in the store. They tell you, oh yeah, you could take this out to the ocean. Don't do it. Don't put your cell phone into salt water. If it gets wet in fresh water, and you flush the fresh water out of the cannon plug by shooting fresh water in it with a hose or a spray bottle, that's going to work okay. But then you have to take a hair blower and blow the water out of the cannon plug, because if you put power into the cannon plug, now you're putting power into water. It's going to oxidize from something called electrolysis. So either phone, you have to dry the female cannon plug out, or when you put the power cord in, it may charge, but it's going to be oxidizing out as it charges. So don't do that. So this is what you got to deal with in the Philippines, a total fabricated story that these technicians said for sure that this phone is going to work with the MAVIC Air 2S drone, and it didn't. And then when you bring it back and say, can you get the program in there? Yes, and they can't connect it to the drone. They say, sorry, sir. They're going to fix that glitch. But even to this day, they never fixed the glitch, even to this day. So why did I buy a Samsung over an iPhone when I knew the iPhone would work? Because Frank Flywoods one told me the iPhone is what I needed. I bought it because there was no iPhone repair service in Bohol, and you'd have to bring it to Cebu or send it to Manila. So after a year, I've never had to use a repair service. I think they have one now. I'm not sure. I don't need one. But they lie. Samsung internet, online information, when you Google, will the Samsung Galaxy 21 work with your MAVIC Air 3 drone, has said that it would work. Some drones have a glitch. That glitch will be fixed shortly. I don't remember what the word was, and now it's close to 2 years, and they never fixed the glitch. So the phone is useless, except it has a great camera. Both of them have a great camera, but I would never buy another Samsung phone, simply because they lied to me. And you could send this video to the Samsung phone shop in the ICM mall and tell them I said hello. They know exactly who I am. They know my name, but they lied to me, and it cost me 73,000 pesos. Now, there's not a single person in that store that works there that could afford a 73,000 peso loss. So if you send it to them, and you can send it to them with my permission, Ask them if they could take a 73,000 peso loss, because they buy a new phone, it might take them 3 years to pay it off. You have to pay cash. So never again, Samsung. Never again. I don't care if I have to bring the phone to Cebu. Yeah, Timmy, that's a good. That's a really good idea. But you know what? I stopped. I stopped flying it over buildings. It's not supposed to be flown over buildings. I did not buy an AirTag. They sell them, and they have a limited range anyway. But it's a good idea to have that. But after I lost my drone on top of a 4-story Modala hotel building, I never flew it over a building again. I only fly it over the beach or the water or directly over my house. I don't, or in the ICM parking lot, which is about 2 or 3 acres. I don't fly over buildings. I won't do it because there's too many things that could go wrong. And not only that, if I was in the city to get on top of a building, you might not know where the once you if this is the building, let's say that this is a building, okay, and your drone flies over the top of the building. When you lose line of sight with the drone should return automatically home. It should do that. But when I lost my drone, the battery was low. It was a low bat, and I pushed return home, auto return home, and the battery died before it got back from where it was. I sent it off really far, not where I found it. I sent it probably more than a quarter of a mile away. And when it said low bat, return home, I pushed return home, and it could have been windy up there. I don't know. But when on the return home, the drone auto landed on the roof, no damage. And one of the guards that know me at the Modala Hotel came down to the beach. They knew I was flying the drone. They let me fly the drone over the hotel. But they came down and said, your drone, it's on top of the roof. So it was on a 4-story roof. So what happens is if you lose line of sight, the drone should come back automatically. And it did. But the battery was low when it was going away, and the wind was against it when it was coming back, and it made it back. It might have been a quarter of a mile away. It made it back just short 300 feet, but 300 feet on the top of a 4-story building, if someone didn't see it land, I don't know that I would have found it. I would have looked for it, but the AirTag would have been good. But you also lose. The AirTag is only good for a certain distance, but it's a great idea. But I don't fly it over nothing anymore. I don't fly it over buildings. I don't fly it over the ICM mall. If I can't see the drone line of sight, I don't fly it anywhere. So that's a great idea for people that have a drone to get an AirTag. They're only about $50. I think a good one is about $50. You can buy them on Lazada. You could buy them on any website, but I don't fly anything over anything. I'll fly it over a tree, but I can see the tree. So thanks for that piece of advice. You're welcome about the Samsung phone. Now, in regards to the iPhone 13, man, that phone. Now, they both have really, really, really good optics. But the iPhone, I think, blows the Samsung phone, $29. Okay, well, then they've been, when I looked at them about a year ago, they were $50. The ones I saw on Lazada. So I guess, and I think I could be wrong, could have been two for $50. Maybe that's what it was. But the optics in the iPhone 13, I made a video, if you guys remember. You know, I make videos about stuff and then I don't talk about everything I want to talk about. Remember a few weeks ago, I put a video up and I showed you about, well, there were 6 or 7 men doing roofing. It was just a 3-minute video. And I said to you that those men are professional roofers, and they were, except at the end of my video I said, one of the mistakes that you make would be to put your self-tapping screws with a rubber grommet, has a little rubber washer under the head of each screw. One mistake that you could make would be to squash that rubber grommet down too much, and the grommet will blow right out from the screw. But I said I don't think they're doing that, but I knew better, because I've been doing this my whole life, construction. I could hear them sending those screws home, right down to the head of the screw, to the metal. And what they were hoping, or maybe the fella that was doing the screwing, maybe he didn't understand the reasoning behind the grommet. He could have just been day labor. I don't know. I never talked to them about the job they were doing, and I never went over there and told them that from what I hear with my ears, that those screws are going down too tight to the metal. I won't do that, because Filipinos don't like to be corrected. They just don't want to hear your input. So I don't offer them advice at all anymore. I'll let them do whatever it is they're doing, and then I just look at them and walk away, or I make a video and walk away. So those men were sending those screws home, every one of them. Now, I said that in the video. Maybe the only mistake you make could be putting... So I could fly the drone over the house and look, but it's too late now, because we're getting back to the optics on the iPhone 13. About a week ago, after they finished the roof, they all left, gone. The job is done. And it rained. Oh, did it rain? It rained like 5 inches of rain in 2 days. The day that it stopped raining, there were two men that I could see on the roof. So the optics of the iPhone, I was sitting out here on my stoop, the stoop of my shack. I zoomed in on the man, and you could hear him pulling every screw on the roof came out, and they put a new screw in with a nice new rubber grommet. I don't know if it was every screw, but it was every screw that I was watching them through the optics. And I made a video of it, but I won't post it. But it's just going to be for a few friends. That roof, all the men were on the roof. I think there were 3 men. It could have been 4. Those men were on the roof for 2 days. 2 days, taking the screws out of the roof and putting new screws in. Now, I don't know if it was every screw, or 8 out of 10, or 6 out of 10. I have no idea, because I only watched it for about 3 or 4 minutes. And I made one 2-minute video, one 57-second video, and one 2-minute video. Well, I'm not going to post it, though. So, but I am right when I tell somebody that something could happen. But my point is that the optics on the iPhone is a little better than the optics on the Samsung. The Samsung optics are great, but the iPhone is maybe 25% better. So the iPhone does have better optics. And the iPhone, I think there's some way, believe it or not, the Samsung you could make, I forgot what it was. Maximum resolution. I think I'm going to look that up. Hold on, Timmy. Pulling out every screw. No, they did that. I have a video. If I had your, I don't want to post that. I don't want to post that. There's no reason to post that because, all right. So Samsung maximum gigabyte picture resolution. Maximum picture resolution for the Samsung is, I think, if I remember correctly, it was, I don't actually remember. Full. It was much more than 12 gigs. Maximum gigabyte. Maybe I should do Samsung max gigabyte pictures. Maximum gigabyte pictures. No, man. What size memory card? It's not giving me the specs, but I do know. Well, I don't think it was definitely not the roofer that put those screws in. It was a helper. What happened was, just let me finish. The Samsung phone, I don't remember what the resolution maximum gigabyte, but the iPhone has an option to make 100 gigabyte resolution, or 100 megapixel. That's what it was. Maximum megapixel. Maximum megapixel. I get the words mixed up. Mega. M-E-G-A. Maximum megapixels. Okay, so how many megapixels is the camera of Samsung? 13 megapixels. I thought it was more than that. And then the maximum so it's 13 megapixels is the Samsung, but now the iPhone 13, if I remember, was something like 100. I know that sounds ridiculous. Even NASA doesn't have 100 megapixel. iPhone 13 maximum. iPhone 13. I could be wrong. I probably am. Okay, let's see. No, that's the same. I don't know what I was thinking. Ultra wide angle at 13 megapixels. Here it is, 48 megapixels. Okay, it has a maximum of 48 megapixels. On the back camera, is 48 megapixels better than 12. On a zoom aspect, so the iPhone has 4 times the megapixel range as the Samsung. But then again, the iPhone came out over a year after the Samsung. So the iPhone came out a year later. So the technology, they have technology today that they won't post for 5 more years. They had, I can tell you what kind of secret spy stuff they had in the 1950s. Remember, they had a camera inside a pack of cigarettes back in the 1950s, a spy camera. So that technology didn't come out until the 80s or the 90s. Anyway, the roofers themselves, no, the roofers didn't make that mistake. The roofers were some excellent professional roofers. They came, they put a tarpaulin up, they did a great job. They removed everything. They had a nice truck. They removed the debris. They cleaned up the yard. They did an excellent job. But they left 2 men on the roof to put the screws in. In other words, they took the old roof off. Any wood that had to be replaced, they replaced. And then they put the sheets on, and they might have put 8 or 10 screws in each sheet and then moved on to the next sheet. Then they did the whole roof. In 3 days, they were gone. But then for 3 more days, somebody put screws in the roof. It took them 3 days, all day, 10 hours a day, putting screws in. And then it took them 3 more days to take the screws out and put new screws in. That's sad, too, because if I thought they would have listened to me, I would have told them. But they don't. Living in the Philippines is, you have no idea what it's like living in. And not only that, I'm not used to people, when I explain something that they might be doing something wrong, they don't want to hear it. They don't understand that they're making 1,000 mistakes. But if I would have told them, they wouldn't have listened anyway, so it didn't matter. You'll see a man in a hole with a jackhammer in flip-flops. Well, I mean, that's a little dangerous. Forget the jackhammer landing on the guy's foot if he drops it or something like that. It's just dangerous being in an 8-foot deep hole in coral, digging coral in a pair of flip-flops, because a piece of coral chip could fall off the wall that you chipped a few days ago, and the vibration knocks the thing down and it breaks your foot. But if you tell them to wear steel-toe shoes, they can't, because they couldn't afford a steel-toe tip shoes. So if you explain to them the better way, they don't have the money to buy the shoes. So that's out the window. I watched that happen a few weeks ago. If you explain to them anything, they go, yeah, okay, and they don't do it. They don't take advice. They really don't take advice well. So I don't bother anymore. They have their way, and their response would be, "This is the Filipino way." So there's a fella next door. I like the guy. He's my friend for like 8 years. I've watched him work for 8 years. He's a really nice guy. Not the manager, but the construction engineer that takes care of, services the building. He was bought a power miter in 2017 when Daisy and I lived in the Stanley house. He was bought a power miter, and so that he could put kitchens in and cut the wood with great accuracy for the count, to put the hardy board on top of. And he would take the 2x, whatever it was, 3 or 4, and he'd put it on the power miter, and then he would cut the wood with a handsaw. Even if it was a 45-degree angle, he would cut the wood with a handsaw. And now I always liked Justin, and I'm going to continue to like Justin always. But so I would. Now we know that there's a chop saw on the job. He's got the wood on the chop saw. It's brand new. So if you were to ask Justin, like I did, why aren't you using the chop saw? So does anybody have a reason why he wouldn't use the chop saw? I'll give you a minute to think about that. A new chop saw, brand new chop saw, 10-inch chop saw, was bought for the job. It's on the job. He puts the wood on the chop saw, but he cuts the wood, whatever the angle is, by hand with a handsaw. Somebody want to tell me why he does that like that? And I'll tell you why. What he told me makes perfect sense. But I'll ask you people out there. I don't have any answers. I don't see an answer. You'd never guess what the answer is. But maybe I won't tell you. Either way, that dog is the dog. That dog next door. He's a good watchdog. He barks at everything. But you hear him barking? I'm waiting for an answer to come on the screen. You hear him? It's a her. You hear her barking? First of all, she barks at a lot of stuff. And at night, everything. So, at 5:25 in the morning, or anybody that walks down the block at night, about 4:30 they start walking down the block to go out to their boat, to go fishing. She barks at the men a little bit, maybe for a minute. But at 5:25, there's a fella that walks a German Shepherd down the block. The dog smells them, hears them, sees them, I don't know. Barks for 45 minutes, non-stop, never stops. Because the dog goes to the beach with the owner of the dog. And then the owner of the dog throws the stick in the water and plays with the dog. And then like a half hour of play for the dog. It's a beautiful German Shepherd. And then the dog goes back to the property. I don't know if it's the owner or the man that works for the owner. He's a nice enough guy, but it's not his fault that that dog barks. But the dog barks for 45 minutes. From the time he sees it till the dog goes to the beach, you can't see the dog, but you can hear them. That dog can hear that dog playing, and it barks. And the funny thing is, it barks from right under the window of the people that live right next door. So it's 3 feet away from their bedroom window, and they don't say a word. I don't know, maybe they use it for an alarm clock. I'm already up, so it doesn't matter. But maybe they use it for an alarm clock. Anyway, moving back to Justin, he does not use the power meter at all. Even well, there's two reasons. One is the extension cord could be downstairs, and he's on, at that time he was on the second floor. So if the extension cord is downstairs and the power meter's on the second floor, well, then you have to cut it by hand because there's no extension cord. Even though there's electric in the room. But the power meter's outside on the deck. So if the extension cord is downstairs and he's on the second floor deck cutting wood, then there's no electric for the meter. But there's a much bigger reason, a much more understandable, a much more comprehensible reason. And I'll tell you what that is in a moment. The second reason that Justin doesn't use the electric power meter, even though he's got the wood on the meter and he's cutting the wood by hand. Number one, you already know the extension cord is downstairs. So there's no electric on the deck. That's only half the answer. The other half of the answer is, what if there's a blackout? What if there's a blackout? And that's what he said. What if there's a blackout? You're cutting the wood by hand, and the extension cord is downstairs. Yes, but what if there's a blackout? What are you talking about? Well, if there's a blackout, I have to cut the wood by hand, right? Of course, yes. Well, do something else. That's okay. So, yeah, okay, I agree. So, what if there's a blackout? And then he just continues working, cutting the wood by hand. That's his answer. The extension cord is downstairs, and what if there's a blackout? And that's how it is here. This is the Filipino way. I'm not kidding you about that. That was the answer he gave. And that was going back to 2017. Now, pretty much he uses the chop saw on a daily basis. But he does, like, let's see. No, actually, no, they just put new railings on. On the whole front of the building. They just put new railings on the building. They did not use a chop saw. They did it by hand. Come to think of it, that was just about a month ago. Yeah, they didn't use... He was putting the railings on. Him and Jerry were cutting all the... It was metal that they were putting metal railings. But they have the chop saw, you just change the blade. They were cutting all that stuff by hand, actually. When I'm thinking back. Dude, you got to understand, what if there was a blackout? And the extension cord could have been downstairs still. I mean, 7 years. And the extension cord could be downstairs. And there could be a blackout at any moment. So, well, that's true. That's true. What do we have here? Spaghetti? What tastes better, spaghetti or pizza? Well, that's one way of changing the topic matter. For me, I don't know. If you have a really good meat sauce or a clam sauce, a white clam or a red clam sauce, I would think that they would be equal. But I mean, you're never going to get a good sauce here in the Philippines. I haven't run across one yet. I've come across okay sauces here, but not... like I worked in a pizzeria and a clam... Lenny's Clam Bar and Lenny's Pizzeria for years. If you know how to make a good sauce, and if you know how to make a good pizza, I don't know which one would be better for me. What I would prefer to eat, pizza or spaghetti, it would definitely be pizza. I love pizza with anchovies. But if somebody could make a good sauce here compared to the pizza that you can buy here, I would say spaghetti, because it's really, really, really hard to get good pizza here. There is a place that makes good pizza, but Giuseppe's Pizza in Alona Beach, I think they make the best pie. I know they make the best pie. And I know that their pie is much better than their pizza. So Giuseppe's makes the best pie, so if I had to choose pizza or spaghetti, I would choose pizza. But that's only for 3 reasons, Giuseppe. I don't know. Giuseppe's uses imported tomatoes from Italy. Imported tomato sauce, imported plum tomatoes, imported tomato paste, all from Italy. It uses imported Parmesan cheese from Italy, imported provolone from Italy, imported gabagool from Italy, and imported mozzarella from Italy, mozzarella and water. So they make the best pizza because they use by far the best ingredients. However, a pizza now is, I think, $13 for a 12-inch pie. Let me check it out. So if you're ever in Luna Beach and you want to buy the best pizza possible, Giuseppe Pizza, Giuseppe's Pizza, Pang Lao. I'll put the link up for you. This store, you'll never get a bad meal here. But then again, maybe you don't know what a good meal is. But just to give you an idea, Giuseppe's makes a pie with nothing but high-end ingredients. So $13, and you're paying for the best pie in the Philippines. So if you have $13 for, let's see what, it could be 13-inch pie. Okay, well, I forgot the name of the products that they use. It's 900 meters. I'm going to post, where am I here? I'm going to post the link up for Giuseppe's Pizza in Luna Beach. I can't do that because the link is too long. So I'll just post the name. Let me see if I could get you a Giuseppe's Pizzeria and Sicilian Roast. Definitely, by far, 100%, 1,000%, 10,000% the best pizza you're going to buy in Luna Beach. The best pizza you're going to buy in the Philippines. They have Giuseppe's are in Cebu also. So, I'm going to see if I can get you a price list now. All right, let's look up. Let's go back up here. Menu, because I highly recommend Giuseppe's Pizza. Not a lot of stuff I recommend, but this place is really good stuff. Okay, so I didn't find what I wanted on that page. It brought me to a Facebook page. Here's the menu right here. Okay, so here we go. For my lovely and talented subscribers. Now I'll give you this link. Well, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for people that are in the Philippines. Let me see if I could find pizza. Spaghetti, like a spaghetti dinner, is $9. Carbonara. Homemade pasta. I would never go to a pizzeria and buy spaghetti, so it really doesn't matter. An antipasto is 900 pesos, $18. So this place, but like I said, it has imported antipasto, 900 pesos. That's about $18. So the prices have gone up quite a bit. Now let's find a pizza. Pizza, baby. Here we go. I want to look just as for myself more than anything else. Okay, so a mozzarella with cheese, garlic, and basil, 400, about $7.50. If you put a topping on it, it's $10 roughly. Calzones are about $10. Now, it doesn't say how big the pie is, but if I remember, it was, it could be 13 inches, but it might be 12 now, because everything has gone down in size. And you also, a little trick they do on the menu is down here, you're going to be charged a 10% VAT tax and service charge. Now, that service charge is supposed to go to the workers. 5% is supposed to go to the workers, and 5% goes to the owner of the restaurant. So whatever you see on the menu, add 10%. So whatever it is on the menu, you have to add 10%. So let's say you wanted a pizza, which of course for me would be the Lorenzo. No, yes, the Lorenzo is the one I buy. That one is Parmesan ham, a mozzarella, mushrooms, peppers. Nope, where's the Lorenzo? Mozzarella, artichokes, olives, fresh tomato, and anchovies. And that pie is 500 pesos, about $9.50. But add another $1 for 10% charge, so it's $10.50 for a pie that would not, under any circumstances, be enough food for me to eat for one meal. The pies are delicious. The toppings are absolutely top of the line. But a 12-inch pie, if I was hungry, I could eat 1.5 pies to satiate me. 2 pies if I just wanted to eat. No problem, I could eat 2 pies. I don't. I usually split a pie with someone and then split a calzone. But so basically, if you were hungry and you had a real man's appetite, a pie would be sufficient. But the taste, flavor, and toppings of the pie, you're not going to get anything close to that anywhere in on Bohol, period. I don't care where you go in Bohol. Nobody makes a better pie than Giuseppe's. And I've eaten pie. There's a place right across the street from McDonald's. There's a pizzeria. Nowhere close. I don't know why. Just nowhere close to the same quality. So if you want to walk for 10 minutes, it's a little less than a half a mile away from McDonald's in Alona Beach. I would go there. There's about 7 or 8 pizzerias in Alona Beach. I wouldn't eat at any of them ever again. I'm just going to go to Giuseppe's because the prices are almost the same, but the quality of the food isn't comparable. And the fella that is near Alona Beach, nearest Alona Beach, he pays probably twice the rent. So he has to charge more money for the pie. But I don't believe the pie is equal in quality to the Giuseppe's pie. So I would go to Giuseppe's. Yeah, Giuseppe's has pizzerias in many places. I'm not sure how many, but many places. There's a lot of them. I remind you of your grandmother. That's my glasses. My glasses. These are good glasses. You know that these glasses have been around now, going on over a year, right? And they're still the original. I have steel in here. I bent a heavy grade of steel, galvanized steel. I bent it on one of my vices. And then I put a nail, a cement nail in here, from here to here. And I glued it with nylon cord. And I did the same thing. I glued the nylon cord with the epoxy. And these are grandma glasses. These are my grandmother glasses. I like to wear these when I'm talking about pizza. So Dr. Yen Lo, hey, thanks for stopping by, Canny Ford. I've had the iPhone and Samsung phones for the past 15 years. I'm choosing the iPhone. I would never recommend anything but an iPhone. If you can afford it, it's not much more. It costed me quite a bit more. Well, you know what? It wasn't much more. My iPhone 13, I think it was 78,000 pesos. No, I'm wrong about that. Actually, it was less money than the Samsung. It was 66,000. No. Okay, no, it was the same price, 73,000. Identical price. $73,000 pesos. So it was the identical price as the Samsung Galaxy. Could be a few thousand pesos difference. I don't have that receipt. I don't even know why that receipt is doing over there. It's junk now. It's over a year. Well, maybe I saved it because it's just not quite a year yet. So I would never buy another Samsung phone. Never. I said there was another benefit from buying a Samsung phone. They literally gave me a 9,000 peso tablet. Maybe that's why. I bought it because they said it would work with the drone. But they also, I bought the phone, I paid for it. I was in the shop talking to the salesperson how to use it, and they walked over to me with another bag, and in the bag was an iPhone, a 9,000 peso tablet. I don't know if that's still on, but it was a free gift if you bought that phone that day or that month or that week. I don't know. I didn't even know about that. Somebody could have said, somebody could have just forgot about it, and I would have never got the iPad. It's a nice tablet. I don't use it, but that was a free gift when you bought the phone. But that's not why I bought the phone. I bought the phone so I could use it with my drone. And I couldn't use it with my drone. Amazing. My grandmother was born October 9th, 1933. My grandfather, October 9th, 1933. My grandmother, October 4th, 1940. You kind of remind me of them. Thank you, Timothy. Or Big J. Smith. Thank you. I guess that's a compliment. You know, well, we're at that age. We're all old now. I'm old. Let's see. Giuseppe's, thanks, Big J. Smith. Thank you. Timothy Starr, Giuseppe's is the one my Filipina friend likes. Oh, it's by far. I mean, first of all, I'm just going to save you the trouble of ever going anywhere but Giuseppe's for pizza. There's no other better pizza. Even the next better pizza. Let me tell you, I brought a fella to a pizzeria in Alona Beach, the one across the street from McDonald's. And he took a bite and spit out the pizza on the table. On his plate, he goes, "Come on, let's go. Let's leave here." So I had bought a pizza for him and his girl, and one for me and Daisy. So we put it in a box. He says, I can't eat this. Let me show you where there's a real pizzeria. And then he took me to Giuseppe's, and I've never been anyplace else since. The pizza was edible. I mean, that's where I had been eating for years. But he just said, "No, I'm not going to eat this." He had never... And he's from Alona Beach. Well, he's from Panglao. So he didn't... Hold on a minute. Hold on, I got it. Oh, man. Okay, so that was Globe. I've been telling you for the last 2 weeks that my modem is not working. But yesterday I finally had the time to get a representative on the phone. And here's what I did. This way it maybe save you some trouble. What you don't understand, or some people don't understand, is that when you call up a representative for Globe or Smart or whoever's got your internet provider, they have a computer that they can do things on their end. They can reboot your system. They can reprogram your system. So my modem was going off on a regular basis every hour to 2 hours. So yesterday morning, I got on the phone with them and I spoke with a tech that had that ability. The operator can't do that, but a tech in internet provider services, whatever they call it, could do that. So they got on the phone and they walked me through it. They said for me to shut off my internet for at least a minute and press, not the button, but there's a pin plug that you put a toothpick in and you press that. It's a reset button. They're both reset buttons, but one works differently than the other. So I was on the phone, I shut off the internet, which shut off the phone, and they knew about that. And then whatever they did on their end, they reprogrammed my internet. Now it's working fine. It hasn't shut off since yesterday. So that was the technician. Plus it's pouring rain. I'm not going to have them come out there. Hello! Ding, 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 ding. There's only one real alpha male, and that's the Foz. Hey, FTF, baby. FTF. Aloe de Winter. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, my God. My friend Aloe. So, if you guys want to laugh, all you have to do is become friends with the great, the one and only Aloe de Winter. And you can talk about absolutely nothing for an hour and 15 minutes and laugh for a solid hour. And so Aloe and I have the most unique conversations. We talk about things I can't even begin to think. The most bizarre things, like if there's if there's a man quoting Bible passages, let's say, right? Well, that's sanctimonious, and then we will look up the things. Like if you're quoting Bible passages and you're not really a believer in the body of Christ, praise the Lord, then your hypocrisy is overwhelming. There will be no place at the table of the Lord when you pass on. And Allo and I can go on that topic for hours. So this is why you see on Allo de Winter's channel. Let's go here and let's get Allo de Winter's link up. He doesn't. Let's see if we can get up. How do I get here? Let's just go here. I'm going to go to Allo de Winter's channel, and we're going to see if we can get a link. Yeah, we could do that to his channel. He has some videos. He has some videos up here of his foods that he ate this week. Let me give you the link. Oh God, this is one of the most bizarre videos you're never going to come across a better video on food. Allo eats, well, he's a 5-star connoisseur of foods. He has a 35,000 peso watch too, which is not a lot of money when it comes to watches, but it is a nice Seiko orange dial watch. I will trade you. Never mind. Never mind. You have a very nice watch. you have a very nice. Allo has a beautiful Seiko watch with the orange face, and that's how you know who he is. He rotates his wrist, because that's the only thing you'll ever see from Allo. But let's go back to my channel, and we're going to post the link. This video is one that you're going to want to watch. This isn't just any video. This is the video, the go-to video. This is the video that ends all other food videos. This is a video about 5-star food. It should have been called 5-star food, but Allo was such a teaser. He's a teaser of people. He's a funny guy. Let's go over here and let's get this video up. I want you guys to watch this video. This video is we'll call it satire, but it's really proof that there are forces, like in Star Wars, Darth Vader, right? He was supposed to be on the dark side. Allo is the Darth Vader of YouTube's comedy programming. You go to see this video, you go there and you watch this video. It's only 1.5 minutes long. It says more about food. See, there's a fella that is behind bars right now. So his food is limited to what some people bring him. They bring him sloppy joes, they bring him hamburgers. I think once he got Salisbury steak, French fries, pizza. A couple of times they ordered pizza. But unless they do takeout, the food is cold. But he's not getting the kind of food he's used to. He's used to ribeye steaks and Italian sausage, the kind you cook, not real Italian sausage. And he's used to that kind of food. He's used to a 5-star eating program. But now that he is temporarily behind bars, Allo went to some restaurant somewhere in the Philippines. He lives here, and He's got angel hair spaghetti with white cream sauce and blueberry cheesecake. If you know what good food looks like, Allo is a connoisseur of good food. So the intention was very dark and sinister. To be honest with you, if there was evil in the world, Allah would have a large percentage of that evil attributed to his dark soul. This guy is truly evil. You got to remember, the fella's in lockup, and he's been there for a very long time. Dennis Adam. And he's been there. He's only supposed to be there for 2 weeks. So Allah was reminding him what good food looks like, but asking him at the same time, the compassionate side of Allah was saying, how are you eating, my friend? Are you eating good? And then he shows him, a connoisseur dinner, a 5-course dinner from a 5-star restaurant. And I don't know what that, where I live, that blueberry cheesecake would be $5 US plus. Maybe $5.65 or $5.85. So that's quite a bit of money for a piece of cheesecake. But if it's good cheesecake like they have at some of the places here, then it's good cheesecake. But Aloe is just, he's sending it in. Each meal he showed, he just sent it in a little bit. Finally, he got it in up to here, and he sent me videos of this, pictures, years ago. He has pictures of this far, this deep. No kidding, not kidding about that. He has pictures that he sent me, and that was when I was we were at odds, at ends with each other. And every day he'd send me pictures of man on man, real man on man video pictures. He's a fun, and that he does that to break your chops. And it definitely, I showed the pictures to the NBI. And the NBI looked at me and said, where did you get this? I said, Aloe de Winter. And they said, where did he get them? I said, I don't know where he got them. The NBI itself, the NBI, the real NBI, the officers of the NBI took my cell phone and showed each NBI agent that was in the office, have you ever seen anything like this before? And they said no. So they didn't even know where Aloe got the pictures. He still won't tell me, and that's okay, because I don't think I would be going there. But I think it has something to do with the dark web. I don't know where he got that. It's guys pitching and catching up to the elbow, and oh my God, that was one of the funniest things to look back on. And now we sit there and laugh about this for hours, but at the time it wasn't funny at all. But now it's funny because Aloe and I turned out to be very, 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 very good friends. And that's not flip-flopping. I'll tell you what flip-flopping is. Flip-flopping is another fella, a psycho from Cebu. Yeah, that was nasty stuff. There's a psycho in Cebu that does flip-flop. He goes, I'm never going to be friends with this guy. You're nothing or anything that you say am I interested in. And then 2 weeks later, he's giving the guy $250 in Super Chat and taking him and his girlfriend out to dinner. That's flip-flopping. That is flip-flopping. When you go through the trouble of making several videos of what a mean, ugly person someone is, and then you totally flip-flop on an idea. And there's the psycho in Cebu, he does that. I have the video. And if God forbid he says I don't have the video, I'm going to post it. So I mean, he can say I never said those words, but I will show you the video. I have the video. I saved that video. That's flip flopping. Me and Allo, 3 years ago, we had our differences, and then Allo offered to help me with something, and he did. And more than anybody else in the whole world, he's helped me with my project that's going on here in Bohol. But the other guy, he was my friend. He would never be friends with a third party. Not only would he never be friends, he's sick, he's arrogant, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. The psycho in Cebu must have had 12 reasons why he wouldn't be friends with somebody. 2 weeks later, they met, and he took the guy and his girlfriend out to dinner and gave him $250 in coffee money, super chat money. And then since then, he's given him about $700. That's flip-flopping. Where I would never be friends with this person. But when you're a psycho in Cebu, anything goes. And when I say anything, anything goes. And I think that there are some things that he posts on YouTube that I could never agree with that. But I'm older, and I came from a different place and a different era in time. But the psycho in Cebu has no morals at all. None. Zero. He will knock you down. He will try to destroy your reputation. He will try to destroy your person. He will try to destroy your being as a human being. He will make up false stories that you're woke. He will call you part of the cancel culture. None of that is true about me. He will say I lie. I've never lied to anybody. Go ahead, I dare you to catch me. Show me someplace that I lied. Fazio's a liar. He's a liar. He's a woke cancel culture. No, when I eliminate somebody from my channel because they troll me, it's my channel. I do what I want. But if you break my concentration, like this fella BJ Smith, right? He broke my concentration. Big J Smith. He broke my concentration, but it was with a legitimate question. And then I gave him an answer. So I was done talking about cameras. I talked about cameras for an hour. That's enough. So when he broke my concentration, he didn't do it to change the subject or break my concentration. He just wanted an answer to a question. But yesterday, Eclectic TV came on and said, I have a friend of mine, George, whose house, out of 1 billion possibilities to make a 2.5-minute segment for a movie, Brad Pitt and George Clooney chose the house across the street that I played in for 12 years, 13 years, 14 years. I played in this house, in this basement, in this backyard, in that living room, in the bedrooms of that house. We played Monopoly and pinned the tail on the donkey on. They chose my friend George's house, of all the houses in America, to make a video. So George and I was talking about the fellow whose house it used to be, my friend Tom's father. His name was Al. I made a live stream with the Miccosukee Indian Reservation, swim with the alligators the day before, 3 days ago. So Tom was in the video, and we went to the Billy Swamp Safari ride. And then the next day, out of the clear blue, handsome guy, George, who owns the house now, his mom does, but him and his mom own the house. He comes on, and this guy, Eclectic TV. So George has sent me pictures of George Clooney, and Brad Pitt in his living room. I think that's pretty cool. And my brother, of course, went over and met them, and he knows a little bit about what they call grips and key grips and property masters, because he worked in that field years ago. So he met George Clooney and Brad Pitt also, which, but the big kicker was that George's mom got a hug and a kiss from both of them, and they recorded it. That's like a big deal. So Eclectic TV comes on and says, now I don't know the name of the movie. I didn't know the name of the movie. Do you know the name of the movie? So I said no, but I'll look it up. And then I looked it up, and the name of the movie is Wolves, Wolves. But I said, in regards to the name of the movie, you, Eclectic TV, could have looked up the name yourself in Google, but I'll do it for you because you're lazy. And then Eclectic, now this guy is trolling me. See, I know a troll when I see one. So how do I know that? Had I just looked up the movie and said you could have done it yourself, but you're lazy, and he dropped it, we would have dropped the subject. But he had to come back and say, you're supposed to know the name of the movie because you brought up George Clooney and Brad Pitt and the movie. No, not necessarily, because it was not what I was talking about in my live stream. When Handsome George said hello, handsome guy said hello, I mentioned that movie existed, but it wasn't the topic matter. So he made me responsible for the name of the movie because I brought the George Clooney and Brad Pitt up. In that regards, he's accusing me of not knowing my subject matter, knocking me down for not knowing my subject matter. That's trolling. But in that regard, then I should know Brad Pitt's birthday. I should know George Clooney's birthday. I should know if George Clooney ever had made love to another man. And I should also know how often Brad Pitt made love to Angelina Jolie. And I should also know, which I do know, that Angela Jolie tongue kisses her brother. But I found that out later. But I didn't know that at the time. So now I did my research. Angela Jolie literally tongue kisses her brother. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And if you put Angela Jolie tongue kisses her brother into Google, you're going to come up with pictures of Angela Jolie and her brother tongue kissing each other. And to them, that's perfectly normal. Matter of fact, I think I'll do that now. That was pretty funny. And she's really loving it, too. This is not something that Angela, Jolie, kissing her brother. Angela Jolie kissing her brother. Okay, get ready. Now you're learning something. Now I'm giving you information. This is her brother. That's her brother, dude. That's her brother. That's not a lover. Okay, thank you. That's her brother. Hey, she's got a lucky brother, boy. So, I don't know. I never heard of this before until, well, about 2 weeks ago I discovered this piece of information. But I don't know if she sleeps with him or not. I wonder if she sleeps with him. All right, so let's go here. Why does Jolie kiss her brother? Well, let's find out. The Lara Croft star clarified that they were doing so out of sibling love and that it was a gesture that their parents had no problem with. She told Entertainment Weekly. Parents really loved that moment. My parents really loved that moment. And that's what will always matter. She did this at the Oscars. Okay. Why didn't Matt Damon like kissing Angela Jolie? Let's find that out. This is stuff we have to know, right? We need to know this stuff. Damon stated, "We're old friends, so it was like kissing my sister. Really awkward and generally awful. This contempt for the kiss stemmed because Jolie and Damon had known each other." Oh, I know Angela Jolie for 25 years, and I'd kiss her. So, let's see. Anyway, that was an eye-opening. Oh, it's not a regular thing. They shared a passionate French kiss. Yeah, John Voight, huh? I like John Voight. He's a great actor. I don't know Runaway Train. The actual kiss was a short one. It looked like they were sharing a passionate kiss. Looked pretty passionate. I agree with that. So, now just picture this. May and Angela kissing each other. It wouldn't be short, I'll tell you that. I'd give her a good long kiss, as long as she wanted. So, I would kiss her. I mean, I don't know that I'm ever going to get the chance, but if she ever watches this video, I'm offering my services to Angela Jolie. Hey, Angela. And you never know. I mean, you could get lucky. So, let me get back to the video at hand. But anyway, I think she's really pretty, but I don't think I'm ever going to get a chance to kiss her. But if anybody knows her, just tell her that I offered. I'm all for that. And I'll even meet her halfway. I'll meet her at the airport. Let's go back over here. Allo just posted a video. Jonathan Vincent Voight is her father from Runaway Train, 1985. I think I know John Voight. She's too unstable to kiss. Yeah, well, I'd have to suffer through that. No, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, you know, she's very talented. I happen to like her as an actress. I think she's very talented. I think she might be unstable, but you know what? You want to talk about unstable? I've gone out with women that are really unstable in real life. I could tell you who my son's mother was, but you want unstable? That's why we're not together. I can't even... If I told you what my son's mother did, they would take this video right down. Right? This video would get flagged, and it would be removed, and there'd be a strike if I actually explained to you the details. That's unstable. That girl was unstable. I've gone out with some unstable women and loved it. You know, that was just my lifestyle back then, years ago. That was growing up in the 80s in New York, the 70s and the 80s. It was a crazy time in life. It was a crazy time to grow up. And not only grow up at that time, but to grow up in New York City. You got to remember, people that make fun of me, they have no idea. You're from some place in Montana or possibly Ohio or Arizona or Nevada. All those places, they mean nothing to me. I've been to all of those places. Nothing is anything like growing up in New York. Or I guess Paris may have been like that. But Paris, France, with the laissez-faire mentality. But her holding. I don't know what that means. I'll send you a message about that. Telling you, I can't talk about. But growing up in New York City, but I laugh at you people and your lifestyles. I didn't live in Los Angeles. I lived in San Diego on and off for 3 years. Okay? And I've been to Los Angeles many, many, many times. Partying back in 1980, 81, like that, 82. Nothing is like New York City. Nothing. There's no comparison. So when you people come on here and I'm from, I don't know, White Plains, New Jersey. That's not New York, okay? It's 50 miles away from New York, but it's not New York. I grew up in New York, okay? I lived in Queens. I partied in Brooklyn and Manhattan. And I partied bigly in Manhattan and Brooklyn and Queens. Of course, that's why you and I get along. That's why you and I have such great laughs. Flying circus I'm talking to. So, there's nothing like growing up in New York City. At that time, you have no idea what it was like growing up there. The subway system, just for one thing, it's unlike any other in the world. You can spend days traveling around New York City in an underground subway system and get off at every stop and explore. And each stop that you get off, you walk down the steps. Not now, you can't do that. But there's steps at the end of the platform. You walk down the steps and you walk 50 or 100 feet into the tunnel, and there's doors everywhere. There's a door maybe every 75 or 100 feet that you could walk. One door goes to a full-size staircase going up to the street, an emergency exit to the street, and one door goes down into a pump room 10 stories below the city street, 180 feet deep underground into solid rock. And you go down those steps and you go into a pump room with giant electric motors pumping the water that seeps into the subway system out into the Hudson River or the Erie, the Gowanus Canal or something like that. Depends on what part of the city you're in. But that in and of itself, as a child, to be able to play in Grand Central Station, you can play there for days, literally days, and there was a whole level in Grand Central Station where, hey Jack, thank you for stopping by. Been trying to call you, but you know that. There was a station in Grand Central Station and two other places. There were stations. I forget where we were. So you couldn't get to the station from Grand Central Station, but you could walk into the tunnel, okay, 75 feet. Then there was a door. And when I say we, I'm talking 25, 30, 35 children from Howard Beach. Anywhere from 11 or 12 years old to 16, 17 years old. We would all get on the jump over the fence, and the station master, he saw us jumping over the fence. It had no barbed wire on it. So 30, 35 children would jump over the fence. We'd walk over the bridge to the other side to Manhattan, and we'd get on a train and go to Grand Central Station, and we'd get off. And then we would all walk to the end of the platform. Well, we knew how to do it because Tommy, Eddie, and Matthew and I, we explored before, and we knew how to get the people there. And we would go in through this door, and then you'd go down maybe 75 feet. I don't know however many sets of stairs there were. And then there was a door to another station, but it was a door to the station itself, not the hallway. And then the hallway, you could go to another station, another level, sub-level where the pump room was. But this door would lead you into a train station that had the ticket booths, the old turnstiles with the wooden wings on it, where you put a 15-cent token in. It had light bulbs in the whole station. It had the name of the station, Grand Central Station, whatever, Plaza, whatever it was. The toll booths were there in place, and the windows were intact, and the door to the toll booth was unlocked. The bathrooms had toilet bowls and toilet paper. The lights in the bathroom worked, and the water in the bathroom worked, hot and cold. And you could play there all day. I'm talking about for 6, 7, 8 hours. We would play that and we'd go upstairs and then go home at the end of the day. Now, did anybody see us playing? Of course. Trains would go through that station at 40 miles an hour, but they didn't stop at that station. That was something really unique that none of you people will ever get to do. None of you. And nobody else will ever get the chance to do that again because they have everything locked up now. But back then, did they know we were there? Sure, they knew we were there. The train that went through the station had a conductor in the first booth right at the window. He saw us. Nobody said anything. The police didn't come down and throw us out. We didn't break any windows. We didn't bust anything. We played like we were playing the train conductor here. We'd go in the booth and say, give me $1, and you'd give them back pennies or something like that. It was fun. But now you can't do that kind of stuff. But just that in and of itself. But there's also places in New York City, play. There's also places in New York City in those train stations where you could go down 4 or 5 more floors into giant pump rooms. Huge pumps like the size of an automobile with electric motors with diesel generator backup. And you could go down there and look at the pumps. And there's places in Queens, right in Howard Beach, where there was a pump room 80 feet below the water table. I don't know why it was there, but we used to play in there too. It had nothing but a padlock on it. We'd pick the padlock and go downstairs. We didn't break anything. And we'd come back up at the end of the day, especially if it was snowing and it was cold. We would just go down and play in the trains in Manhattan or play in the pump room in Howard Beach. It's located at 157th Avenue and 101st Street. There's a pump room. There's a pump station there. Now you can't get in there. They got double locks where you can't get in, the new locks. But used to have just a cheap $2 padlock on it. You could pick it. So this is the stuff that you people never will ever get a chance to do or see. But then there was, you had Chinatown. You had Little Italy. You had Little Greece. Even back then there was an area of, you had Alphabet City. You want to talk about a crazy place. You had the, with The hippies hung out. Greenwich Village. And this is all within like a 10-block radius. This was places you could go and walk around and play all day. There was no crime. Nobody robbed you. Nobody tried to hurt you. And we didn't do anything illegal when we were places where we shouldn't have been. But you guys will never see any of this. You grew up on a farm in Ohio, and your big day was traveling 35 miles to get ice cream, homemade ice cream. We had all thousands of things to do. We had Central Park. We had ice skating rinks in Wallman's ice skating rink in Manhattan. We had the Manhattan, the zoo in Central Park. We had the aquarium in Coney Island. We had all kinds of stuff to do. You people, you grew up in the most shallow of lifestyles, growing up in the places that you grew up in. Now, it's not your fault. But when you make fun of me, I've had a lot of thousands of experiences that I can't even begin to share with you people, because you wouldn't understand. What would you understand that I just told you? We went down into a 35 children playing in a train station all day, and we'd play hide and seek, we'd play tag, we'd walk on the tracks, we would go down the tunnel, and every 3 feet in the tunnel is you could lean up against the wall, and the train would go by you like 8 or 10 inches away from you at 40 miles an hour. We did that. You've never done that. I did that. You people are a trip, man. You really are a trip. You live your lives in wherever it is that you grew up, but you have no idea how much stuff there was to do in New York. And I look back at this stuff, and I really like a lot of stuff that I did. And the people that you meet, forget about the people you meet. Somebody said I never had movie credits with my name on it. No, I did not. But I know about the movies they made with people and who the people were in the movies. That's more than anybody else can say. Jack Thompson just recently read a book pertaining to Howard Beach. Couldn't put it down. There's a lot of history in Howard Beach. You'd be surprised. John Voight is worth $55 million. Angela Jolie's net worth $120 million. Let me look up John Voight. I'm pretty sure. Come on. Why can't I? I'm pretty sure I know who John Voight is. I'm absolutely positive I do. But he's made many movies that I've seen that have nothing to do with the movie that you mentioned. Let's just look up John Voight movies. I'll tell you which ones I saw him in. He was in Midnight Cowboy. I don't remember seeing that. Anaconda. I don't watch movies about snakes or ants or rats or birds. Holes, never heard of it. Mission Impossible, didn't see it. Ah, yeah, Deliverance. Okay, that's who I know him from. John Voight was starred in Deliverance with Burt Reynolds. Right, okay. So I know that's the John Voight I'm thinking about. Yep, okay. Deliverance. Now, there's a movie. Voight was in Deliverance, says Flying Circus. And I can't put the link up because it's too long. So let's just put down everything is too long. The links are all too long. I'll go back to the video. Jack Thompson, Kiss the Foz. Angela Jolie kissing the Foz. That would be really cool. That'd make a nice thumbnail, yeah? Okay. So we're back. We're down. Probably bite my tongue off. Flying Circus says that. I don't know. I don't know. Some nut jobs, but I'm nuts too, says Flying Circus. Okay. Yeah, well, that's why we get along. That's why we have those interesting little chit chats back and forth to Flying Circus. Don't ever say hi, Jack, in an airport. That's right, Jack. Jack, I've been trying to call you. Is it okay to call you after the show? It's raining here again. It's been raining here for 5 days. Boy, I'm not happy about this rain, but you have the DVD. Yeah, that was quite the movie. I remember seeing that. I think that happened in down south. I don't remember where it happened. That Dueling Banjos. That was that boy for Dueling Banjos. That was a real thing. They didn't plan that for the movie. I don't think they planned that for the movie. I think they just ran across that by accident. If I remember when I read stuff years ago. Yeah, so you people that grew up in wherever you grew up, never going to compare. I don't care, California, San Francisco. I never been to San Francisco. I got up to San Simeon. I went to the Hearst Mansion in San Simeon. Anybody ever been to the Hearst Mansion in San Simeon, California? I was there before, I tell you, before they put up barriers where you couldn't go in all the rooms. And then I was there in the 90s when you could only take a certain tour. But when I was there in 1980, you could go into every room in the Hearst Mansion and sit on the furniture if you wanted to. They asked you not to, but you could. I did not, but you could. There were no cameras back then, and if there were, they were hidden. But you could walk into every room and you could look at all the antiques on the walls. And now they have like a thing you can't go into the doorway. You could just look in the door. But I did that twice. Once in 1980 and once in 1991 when I went back. Big J. Smith, born in 1980. You got quite a few years left on you. That's cool. Deliverance remind me of when we find a city slicker bloke down in the backwoods. Yeah, you know what? You know what I did that reminds me of Deliverance, and I thought about Deliverance, Flying Circus. I was going across country in a van, and I was tired. Oh, God, I was tired. And because, you'll go to where there might be nothing for 200 or 300 miles that you want to see. I was probably on my way. I was definitely on my way to Red Rock Country, which was Red Rock Country was where all the hippies and all the witches and warlocks stay. Sedona, Arizona. Sedona. But also before you get to Sedona, you could go to Tucson. So I was someplace near Tucson. And I pulled into a gas station, and the guy said to me, how much gas do I want? And I told him, and because it was still a full service gas station. And I asked him where the restroom was. And he told me, and I walked, I was really tired, and I walked into his office, and I walked into the wrong door. And there must have been, I don't know how much money there was in that room. Those guys were selling more than gas, whatever it was. I opened up the door, and the fella was right behind me. Not where he could see me go in and out of the door, but he must have said, I left that door unlocked. And I walked in, and there were piles of cash 2 feet high on the table. And I walked out. I said, no, we have plenty of money to. And when I walked out, of that door, I had to walk back up 5 or 6 feet to the bathroom. And just as I was walking into the bathroom, that guy was walking behind me. So had I tried to do anything, I would have ended up buried in the backyard, I'm sure. So when the guy realized that I was just, traveling through, he said to me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just traveling. I'm on my way to Tucson, Arizona." He goes, "Do you drink to kill?" I said, "Yeah, I drink to kill. Everybody drinks to kill." So he goes, "Come on, let's have a couple of shots." So I got completely hammered with maybe 5 or 6 guys. I mean, wasted. I don't even remember going back to my van. But I woke up in the van, and then the next day we all had breakfast and I left. But that was one of the cool things I did going across country. But had I taken another 30 seconds to help myself to what was on the table, I would have ended up staying there for a long time. But that was pretty cool. Those guys were really cool. And they were all as redneck as you could get. And me, I'm sitting there with my gold chain and my DA haircut and look and wear right out of New York City. Those were pretty cool dudes, though. I remember that. I have it in my journal. Met a lot of people like that on the road. But did you ever do that? Go to Tucson, Arizona, or go to Sedona, Arizona. I lived in Sedona. I lived in Flagstaff. Tucson is... I can't stay here, says Flying Circus. Reminds me of an old joke. I can't stay here. No, that was a bad place to be. And it, another person would have taken advantage. There was piles of money on tables 2 feet high. I don't know what they were doing, and I don't care. And I never made a mention of it to them, but I don't even know if they ever locked the door. There wasn't a lot of business there. I'm sure I would have been buried in the backyard. But that was pretty cool. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. It was all right around dinner time, and we got hammered, man. I'm talking fall down drunk. That was fun. I needed that. Plus, I was tired. I woke up in the van, and I had a dog with me, and I walked the dog in the morning, and then they were making breakfast when I went back to the gas station. I was about 60 feet away. That was pretty cool. I had a great trip. I spent 3 months and put 30,000 miles on a van in 3 months traveling around America, and I saw the Grand Canyon from the South Rim, from the North Rim. Hiked down into the Grand Canyon off the South Rim, in 2 feet of snow at the top of the Grand Canyon, and 90 degrees at the bottom, and swam in the Colorado River. Did you guys ever do that? I don't think so. And I got pictures of it all. I'm not like Dunce, D-U-N-C, Dunce, D-U-N-C. When I say I have pictures of something, as soon as I find them, I'll post them. But Dunce said I hiked the Appalachian Trail all 2,000 miles. And if Fazio doesn't think I did that, I have pictures to prove it. We're waiting, Dunce. We're waiting. And I don't want to see a picture of you standing next to a tree. I want to see a picture of you at Station 1, at Station 10, at Station 12, however they mark the Appalachian Trail. I want to see a picture of each major stage of the trail. Because you said you hiked 2,000 miles, and you did that less than 10 years ago. You had a good camera. Let's see some pictures. But like everything else, Dunce makes up stories on the internet that he did this and he did that, and I don't believe him. But prove me wrong, and I will apologize for saying you did. I'm not saying you didn't hike on the Appalachian Trail, but I don't believe you hiked 2,000 miles. So show us the pictures of the different places that you went to with landmarks that we could see, and I will apologize. And then I won't ever disbelieve you again. You can tell me you went to the moon, and I'll believe you. But your forte is leaving worthless comments on other people's videos. Ah, that's what you said, Flying Circus. Deliverance reminds me when we find a city slicker broke down in the backwoods. Yeah, that's something that I did for years. Traveled around, and well, in America, I always had a pistol permit, so I had a gun, and I was a little bit safe. But I mean, there's nothing to stop you from being robbed. You know, like when you're walking around by 5 or 6 people in the middle of the night, you go out to the bathroom or something like that. But yeah, I did that. Hiked out. I lived in Sedona. I camped by what's called Slide, Slide, Slide Rock. I camped there. I camped in Sedona where they have the balloons go by in the morning. You can rent a hot air balloon. I camped right. There's a cliff there. It's a rock wall. I mean, when I say it's a rock wall, you go to and you watch the balloons go over the horizon, or in the distance. Not the balloons have like 6, 7, 8 people in the gondolas. They're big balloons. I watched that. I never went on a balloon, but there's a place where you go to watch that. There's a cliff. I camped there, in case anybody's ever been to Sedona, Arizona. I camped there, and I camped at Slide Rock. And I stayed there in Sedona, and I also camped at Sedona North has a gym. Elmer ran the gym, and Elmer was Jack LaLanne's childhood friend. And Elmer ran the gym, and they were friends through their whole life. And Elmer taught weightlifting and weight training, and him and his wife Barbara. And so I'm sure they're long gone. Elmer was in his mid to late 60s. This goes back to 1990, I think it was. Yeah, 1990, because I was at the LA riots in 91, after the riots, not in the riots. And Elmer was the guy's name. He was also a Bible scholar. And before you could work out, he wanted to talk about the Bible with you. And I happened to have studied the Bible for years, and I knew about the Bible and the passages and stuff like that in the Bible. Bible Bibble, I call it, the Bible Bibble. Bible Bibble is when you want to pretend to be one person and you say, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife." And then you have 2 wives. That's Bible Bibble. And when you say that, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods," which is a wife, a girlfriend, and you have 2 wives, or you have 2 girlfriends. That's Bible Bibble. That's the hypocrisy of the people that spout Bible Bibble. That happens on YouTube a lot, much more than you would know or think. But that's a topic for another day. It's the left coast, and near that, yeah, I don't. Well, anyway, the LA, I stayed there because I lived with Tom, the guy who I was out on the in the Billy Swamp rides. I lived with him at 555 North Avenue, Vista, California, and 1050 Golden Trail, Vista, California. And I lived there for months. I think I got there in January, and I left 3 days before Easter, whatever Easter was, April 15th or whatever it was. And I did the trip back from San Diego, California to New York in 72 hours by myself. And that was I was tired, but I wanted to go home. I wanted to make Easter. I don't know why I left so late, but I wanted to be home for Easter, and I did. I got there. 72 hours of almost non-stop driving. That was a nice trip, though. 3 months touring the United States, and I did that twice, but the second trip was more South Florida, Arkansas, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, the outskirts of Georgia, near the canal. There's many islands off the beaten path. Also, Cape Hatteras. I went to Cape Hatteras. You can drive to Cape Hatteras. I did that. So the second trip was, then I shot over to Alabama. I did that trip, but I did 2 different trips. For each one lasted about 3 months. So you people that you make, he lives in a shack. Yeah, but I did things. I had fun. And I have pictures of all of this stuff. Just like I found that number 3 drive that's right here. The number 3. See this drive here? This is the one, the number 3 drive. This has 3 terabytes. It's not the number 3 drive, but it has 3 terabytes of pictures and trips that I did. You don't have that. None of you have that. You might have a snapshot, but now I don't have video from my 1990 or my 1980 trip. I just have pictures. There were no video cameras back then. There were, but they were like $1,700 for a camera that weighed 12 pounds and had a battery pack. So, but you people, you live very shallow lifestyles. I laugh at you. You got that guy Richie, who likes to make fun of me with his videos. He's never shown you anything. Now, I have those 1-hour videos where I do alpha male stuff, putting motors in boats by myself at night, and at the alligator swamp ride, and working where I worked and where I lived in the Florida Keys, ripping down, 200-year-old trees, and by myself going into a forest and clearing 2.5 acres of land, and then bringing in a chipper truck with 7 men to chip it up and cut up the logs. And I do all that stuff. You people have nothing. You show nothing. That's why I don't give you any play. You're not allowed to come in and critique my lifestyle because I live in a wooden shack or a container, whatever it is that you want to call it. You're not allowed. You didn't earn that right. When you earn it by showing me something that you've done, then you can come on and critique me. Gotta go. Okay, thanks, Flying Circus. Big J Smith has been to Yuma, Arizona. Now, I've never been there. I may have seen Yuma on an exit or on the map, but I've never been there. I did that trip. I don't remember the road, but the road that I came in on, you may know this road. You come in, you're on your way to Sedona, Flagstaff, Arizona, that general area. You come over this hill. At the top of the hill, there's a huge stand of Indian stores, cigar store, Indian stores. And then right over that ridge is the Grand Canyon, the town of the Grand Canyon. Right over the ridge that's the whole Grand Canyon. And I came over it. I stayed up on the top of that hill for 2 days sleeping. And then when I decided to get back on the road, it was night. and the Grand Canyon was over the top of the hill. And when you come over the top of the hill, it's a little bit depressing in a way because all of the Grand Canyon, all of it, the entire Grand Canyon was lit up with tens of thousands of houses and businesses. I always pictured the Rio Grande. That's where I came over, the Rio Grande. And I always pictured it as a place where horses run free. And the Rio Grande there's no place to run free in the Rio Grande. It's all houses. Yeah, that was a little bit depressing. I had a different viewpoint of that. Dennis Adams is back on the scene. I prefer to live in my garage rather than the house. That's just me. Shack is good too. Hey, Dennis, if you ever come, I'll go next door and rent a hotel room, and you can stay in the shack. You'll feel right at home. When are you coming back to the Philippines? Oh, wait, I have a more important question. Forget that one. Is that Kubota still running? I bet you it's not. I'd say it's not running. I'd say that it broke down and nobody was around to fix it. Dennis Adams. Let's see if Dennis has an answer that will surprise me. Dennis bought a tractor for his family in the Philippines. A nice one. And I looked up the service manual for the grease fittings because there's something about people in the Philippines that they don't change the oil in their cars. They just add oil forever. They never change the filter. That's true. And they don't grease stuff. Everything I ever bought here in the Philippines or looked at to buy had original oil filters. Oil's never changed. Oil's like water. I was going to buy a Chariot about it was my birthday 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago. And I looked at two Chariots. One was just a piece of garbage. They wanted 40,000 pesos for something that should have been junked. I mean, it was just a piece of junk. They used it for salt water, maybe bring tanks to a boat or something, but the whole chassis, the whole bed was gone. The hinges were not, the bed in the back has wings. It was all tied on. Everything was tied on with ropes. There was no headlight, no alternator to charge the battery. No battery charging system. No emergency brake. And no rear brakes at all. The front brake worked, but it would freeze up when you pulled the brake. You had it wouldn't go back. When you pulled the brake, when you squeezed the brake, it locked the brake pad down. You'd have to get off the machine and pull the brake pad out with a hammer. So it didn't have front brakes either, but the brake worked. But the cable worked, but the back brakes had no cable, no brakes. And they wanted 40,000 pesos. You could buy a new one for 100. And they said to me, this is Filipinos. This is the kind of nonsense you listen to here. You listen. It's only 40,000 pesos. But we own a Rusi motorcycle shop. You can get whatever you need from us. And I'm going to buy the parts to fix the Chariot without buying a new bed was like 60,000 pesos. And it still wouldn't have a bed. The brakes, who knows if the drums needed to be cut, but who knows how bad. Maybe they needed to be replaced. So they tried to sell that to me. I said to the guy, I tell you what, if you bring that to my house, this is what I said to the owner of the machine. If you bring it to my house and give me 3,000 pesos, I'll call up a junk man and have him take it away. Oh, what do you mean? This is a good vehicle. I said, I tell you what, start it up. So he got it started, but he couldn't keep it running. He goes, well, I'll get this running by tomorrow. I know what the problem is. It's an adjustment on the carburetor. So that was one, and the oil was like water. But you couldn't see the oil on the dipstick. You had to take a long piece of dried grass and put it down into the crankcase. Then you could see the oil was like water. Dennis never answered my question, or the chat froze up. So let's refresh the page. Okay. No. The answer is no. The Kubota tractor doesn't work anymore. I got no answer. Sorry to hear that. That was a nice little tractor too. Yeah, the people in the... So then the other machine I looked at, the other Chariot, you could buy a brand new one. Brand new, right? Go to the factory. They put a plate on it for you. They insure it. You drive it out of there for 110,000 pesos. And I think the next one that I looked at was 2 years old. I don't remember what they wanted. I think it was 80,000 pesos. He wanted 85, and I got him down to 80, and I still had to insure it and put a tag on it, and it was 2 years old. So for another $500, another 80,000 would be 25,000. Another $500, you buy a brand new one, and they put a plate on it and insure it for you for 1 year for 110,000. Dennis is not answering me. All right, well, that's it. I'm done. I think it's going to stop raining, or I think it did stop raining. Thanks for watching. And maybe somebody would put it. All right, what do we got there? Maybe a thumbs up from whoever's watching would help a little bit. He answered my question. The chat froze up. Okay, I said that, and I don't know why it froze up. Let me refresh the page again. It's not... No, there's no chat, Dennis. It's okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, the chat definitely froze up. That's what, I had a problem with that yesterday too. And the time before also. All right, then, I'm going to say good day to everybody. Thanks for watching. And, that's all I got to say for today. You people that you come on my channel and you're going to criticize me, you better have some content on your page. Yeah, I better be able to see your face, know your name, where you live, and what you do for a living before you can criticize me on my page. Trolls, not allowed on my page. I do allow one, Mika. He has 100 troll accounts. At first I didn't really like him, but now I find him humorous, and he is humorous, so I let him on my page. So Yeah, I see your message on Skype, and you'll be right back. So I'm gonna. But yeah, you're not allowed to troll my channel. Now, if you have a lot of content on your show, and I can see your face, who you are, what you do, and you have like real things that you do in life besides. Listen, let's get down to the meat of the matter here on YouTube. You people, for the most part, are the world's greatest underachievers. You have nothing to do with your life. Today, it's been raining here for 5 days, so I did 3 live streams. But you have nothing to do with your life. Even if you have money, you still don't have anything to do with your lives. Even you have money. Now you have money and you live in the Philippines, and still there's nothing to do here. Let's face the hard, cold facts of the Philippines. There's nothing to do here. The reality of it is, and we have the psycho in Cebu, right? His big outing of this week was that he got a facial, where they put the cream on your face. I mean, that's something to do. That's definitely something to do, but I wouldn't do it. But I mean, for the children and the wives, plural, for the children and the wives, that was probably nice for them to do that, because for them, for Filipino people, that would be something really nice to do. But for me, my option to do something would probably not to get a facial. Probably not. I'd probably pass on that, save my money to go island hopping. But there are children that are very young, and I don't blame them for not wanting to bring us kids on the boat. That's a big responsibility. So, but there's nothing to do here. You people that live in the Philippines, a lot of you people, you wake up in the morning and you watch Popeye's show, and then you go to Kevin's show. Maybe you'll watch my show. You'll watch a video by Allo or flying. You can spend 8 hours a day, and you got nothing to do, so you critique me. You're not allowed to critique me unless I know who you are. Not allowed. Okay, you want to troll somebody? Troll somebody else. Don't come to my channel. I want intelligent people that have accomplishments in life where we can have a conversation. Now, Dennis is that person. Jack Thompson is that person. Flying circus. Even though you know nothing about flying circus, he's that person. DNC is that person. All people that have things going on in their lives that none of you people will ever know about because you're not their friend. Allo. You know next to nothing about Allo. Allo has things going on in his life. He just spent 2 months touring Vietnam, making video after video, and he's like, but you come on, the people that just have a name on the screen, you cannot troll me. And don't try it, because it ain't going to last very long. And why are you wasting your time doing that anyway? Don't you? Most of you guys are old enough to know better, but that's your fun in life, is to. Do you see Zionist ZooTube making comments on people's videos? Ever? I went at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, use the bathroom, and then I read some comments. Sometimes I read comments during the day, especially now that it's raining, but I don't leave comments on people's pages. You're welcome. Bottle Baby, thanks me for my time. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up. All right, you're welcome. So you people can't come on my... I'd rather that you just watch, enjoy the show, listen, because I'm not like anybody else on YouTube. By far, I'm more unique, the most unique person on YouTube by far, by tenfold. None of you people, I don't care how much money you have, none of your people have the skill sets or the experiences that I lived through and experienced. None of you, nobody, bar none, nobody on YouTube at all, unless you're really wealthy and you were brought up in a working class family. You may have just had very expensive vacations, and that's your idea of life experience, and those are cool too. But to do the things that I've done, and you come on my page and break my chops for all the information and the time I spend giving you this stuff, nobody on here do I consider, save a few, alpha males. All the rest of you are beta males. You got some guy named Richie critiquing me in his videos, which is no longer allowed, by the way. Anything from this day forward, you make a video with me in it, I'm flagging it. Any comment that you make on anybody's show, anywhere, bringing up my name, I'm going to flag something that you got. Because you are now persona non grata in my mind. I allowed you to get away with it to where you shot yourself in the foot, so to speak. I like that expression, so I used it. But you are no longer allowed to critique me. And if you do, I'll flag your videos. And you won't like that. So don't do it. Don't bring my name up on somebody else's live chat. And I don't care that you think it's funny. I think it's not funny. I think when you bring it up, how many times can Michael use a diaper? Something like that, which was one of your comments or a response to one song. And you thought it was funny? Dude, you're not funny. You're not a real man, that's for sure. And you're certainly not an alpha male. So you really have to be funny, a real man, and possibly an alpha male if you want to critique me. And I got to know who you are. Now, I'm not going to let you do that to me because you think and who are you friends with? You're friends with people I would never, in my lifetime, I've never associated with people like your friends, ever. Even when I did things that may have been questionable, I never had low-life friends that I called my friend. There was a guy I grew up with who was a lowlife, and he was my friend since 5 years old. But I didn't stay with him as an adult. As an adult, we went our own way. But I had a friend that turned out to be a lowlife, but I would never stay with the lowlife. He would go to the bar and I would go home. He would do things that I would never even contemplate doing because he was a lowlife. But you hang out. Your forte is hanging out with lowlifes. And you come and critique me, not allowed. Let's see what we have here. Big J Smith. So you have a channel? Not that you're not trolling me, so I don't really care. I can't see your channel. How come I can't see your channel? It doesn't matter. I'm an Omega male. Okay. So I can't see your channel. That's weird. I still don't know how to use all of these functions, but yeah, now if I click the three buttons next to Dennis, I can see his channel. But if I click the three buttons next to Big J Smith, I can't see your channel. Nothing on his channel. So what is he talking about? Well, what are you talking about? YouTube needs to send us, US, some money to make it equal as content creators. YouTube pays on the 21st of every month. Us viewers need some extra money too. Well, how do you make money on YouTube if you have no content on your channel? It's okay that you're here asking questions because you're not trolling, but you included us as content creators, and Dennis went to your channel and says there's nothing there. Do you have another channel that we can see? I don't care. Okay, he's a viewer on YouTube. So, yeah, YouTube doesn't pay us near enough money. And I heard a story last night at 3 o'clock in the morning. YouTube pays us only pennies on the dollar. No, it does not. You are lucky to get, for every 1,000 views, currently most people only make $1. Could be $3, but you have to get 1,000 views. So that's YouTube's market. Now, Super Chat is something else altogether. But there is hardly any more Super Chat on anybody's channel. I've noticed that for sure. So, as far as views are concerned, there are channels that could make as much as $10 for 1,000 views, but mine is not one of them. I think I could tell you right now, I haven't looked at it in a while. Let's see, if I go here, you can look up your statistics, content. I'll tell you exactly how much money I make on, you got to go to the dashboard part of your channel. Then you got to scroll down and go to channel analytics. And then you go to revenue. And on average, on average, you could see for yourself. On average, here, and this date, on that date, 67 cents, 73 cents, 29 cents, 21 cents, 96 cents, over here, 56 cents, over here, 63 cents. This day I got a Super Chat. I made $15. And then the last few days, 60 cents, 38 cents, $1.16. So on average, you make about, for well, on average, you make about, I don't know, 40 cents a day. And if you get about 8,000 views, 30 times 40, that's $12 a month. You make about $12 a month for views, for 8,000 views. So in this case, I made like $1 on average with, when you average it out over maybe $1 a month, $1 a day on average, not $1 a day, $12 over the course of the month is 33 cents a day. 33 cents a day. For me to sit here and talk to you and use electric and have the fan on and use the internet cost me more than that. But the Super Chat in this community has dried up. It really has, very sad indeed, because it used to be a creator where you could make money and it was profitable. Now it's not. So the people that are complaining that they make pennies on the dollar, you don't make pennies on the dollar. You make, for 8,000 views, just take a look. Well, it's hard to do it by that, but there's no way to separate the Super Chat from the day. But On average, if you get 8,000 views, you make about $12 a month from that. So it's not even, it's like a little over $1 a day for some months. So, but you used to, if you have a really good video and they watch the commercials, you could make $1.50 a day, $45 a month. But most people have YouTube Gold, YouTube Red, and for that you make, for every 1,000 views, you're lucky if you make $1. I don't think you make $1 for every 1,000 views. So some you make more than $1 for 1,000 views, but YouTube Red gives you $1 for 1,000 views. So what that fella is talking about, I have no idea. He's not a YouTube creator. Viewers need to get paid to watch and learn. I think you got that backwards. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. Amping Permi from the Philippines, baby. And of course, Amping Permi means take care always. Bye-bye for now.